Hey guys, welcome to the Week 3 podcast. We have a lot to go over this week. Big weeks for some big trades. Week 2 results and prediction results. We also have with us, as usual, Nick, our last solo champion. And from across the sea here, we have a longtime friend, longtime GM, Kyle, who's the GM of the Cherry Pickin' Dons.
Hey guys, I just also want to say that I'm a former champion as well, but my name's not on the trophy. What gives?
Well, I'm in the same boat as you, buddy. That was from before it became a keeper league, for those of you who weren't around back then. I think we were an 8-man league back then. What a joke. No one who plays an 8-man league. But Kyle and myself were champions. Our name's not on the trophy. It did not count.
I kind of feel like I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs over here. You know, I won before the expansion and haven't won since.
But we have a lot to get into, so let's get into it. All right, guys. Now we're gonna review the trades from last week. So there weren't as many as the last couple weeks, guys, but still some big ones. Five deals to review here. So I guess we'll start with the one that happened during our last podcast. We get out of the podcast, and all of a sudden I'm looking at my phone, and hey, I have a trade to approve.
Yeah. Really nice timing on that one, guys. So thanks.
So we're going to report on that one, and we have TVT MF, good old Travis, up to his car salesman tactics here. He's always selling everything. It doesn't matter. It could be day of the draft, and he'll sell you whatever he drafts. We're going to go, he traded Kubalik, Falk, and an 8th to Relentless for Killorn, Marino, and a 6th. Let's go to the whole shaft here for his analysis.
I don't like it. I really don't. I know exactly what you're doing, Travis, and I don't like it. That's a new GM, all right? We want to keep people around in the league. That's not how we do it with trades like that. I'm really sorry, Relentless, that he did that to you, bud. It's tough. Kubalik scored, 30 last year? Did he even get to 30? He might have got 30. But just a young player who's not proven yet. Justin Falk, offensive defenseman. You're trading back an offensive defenseman in Marino and a proven player in Alex Killorn. Not a great fantasy hockey player, but he's still serviceable. But to give out the 6, and Travis, I know you're hunting for those 6, bud, but man, that's really tough. I take your feedback. You want me to be a little more honest with the trades. Well, that's my honesty. So yeah. Kyle, you got anything to add on this one, bud?
Yeah, I'm gonna echo your sentiments here. This trade was garbage for Relentless. This is by no means worthy of a 6th rounder. Falk has a good fantasy rating. He's overrated. It's all based on him having a high plus minus, but that could turn on a dime, the plus minus rating, and it has really overshot his fantasy value. So I really do think you got robbed this week. Travis, good on you for pulling a Derek.
For pulling a Derek. Oh, okay.
I feel like there was no lube on this one. It just...
Yeah.
It looked like it hurt.
It did.
It looked like it hurt.
It did.
I guess next up on the docket we had TVT MF again involved. This time he hooked up with Del Tried the Beef. Travis sent Kessel, Allmark, Elliott, a 9th. A lot of components here. Yeah. Over to Daltrey for Duchesne, the Chicago duo. And another 6.
That famed Chicago duo, eh?
It's been on the move.
Yeah.
Let's go to Kyle here for analysis.
I like this trade. I feel it's a decent trade for both parties involved. Daltrey is getting 2 decent goalies for 2 Chicago goalies. Chicago's not going to do much this year, but he paid for it. He gave a 6 to Travis. And I think, you never know. Goaltending is really weird this year, so it may not work out for Daltrey. But I think I think this is a good move for Daltrey. And as we've seen, Daltrey is on the move this year. I think this is the right move for him. So I'm gonna give Daltrey a slight edge on this. I know Travis is gonna be happy.
Oh.
Travis, it is vastly overrated. Both years I auto-drafted. I've auto-drafted 2 years, and I made the playoffs both years.
We lost you for a minute there, buddy.
Well, I think the gist of it was that you feel that the draft is overrated, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of this trade for Daltrey. This one, Travis, good on you for pulling this one off. Daltrey's a seasoned GM. He should know what he's getting into at this point. Whenever I think about trading a 6th rounder, I think about trading for a keeper worthy player. In this list that he's getting back, I don't see that keeper worthy player. That your Brian Elliott, your Linus Allmark, and your Phil Kessel. I'm not sure that you're really going to want to keep any of these guys. You're going to get a little bit of scoring with Kessel, and maybe some supplemental goaltending with Brian Elliott. Linus Allmark that's a question mark there in Buffalo. It's a big risk, and to give up the 6 for not getting much in return, I don't like it. But good on you, Travis. Good for you, buddy.
I think I like your analysis. I don't think Kessel's that guy. He plays on a low-scoring team.
Mm-hmm.
They lost twice last week, 1-0. Like, they don't score goals. Taking a top forward from that team isn't always the best idea. I'm a fan of that team, and I'd only honestly want their goalie on my team for fantasy value. Next deal here. I'd like to say we have some different names involved, but nope, TVTMF again. This time with Patchy Ready to Rumble. Seems like a little bit of a closer deal. We got Puljujarvi and a 14th being shipped over for Kapanen and a 12th.
So go to Kyle.
Yeah, go to you, buddy.
Okay, yeah. I'm not exactly sure if Nick knows something that I don't. I'm not seeing anything really worthwhile in his game this year in Jesse Puljujarvi. He had one good game earlier in the year. That I'll give him that.
He played on McDavid's line for that game.
Yeah, okay. But if he can get back to playing with McDavid's line consistently, then yeah, this is a steal. But if that's not going to happen, then I don't see it. But to give up a 12th rounder, it's not like he's paying a very high price for it. And Travis just staying busy, just moving players that he's gonna do all year for these mid to late round picks until he can start moving up those mid to late round picks into earlier picks. We've seen it before, and that's probably what he's gonna get up to again this year. All in all, it's an okay trade.
It's a trade. It's a trade.
Yeah. Kyle, you have anything to add on that?
No, I think you touched on everything there, Nick.
All right, so
next we have a trade featuring Nick with one of our Kyles, just not this one. Nick sent Braden Shen over to Right in the Plums for Roman Josi. Straight up, no picks. Kyle, what do you think about this?
So, this one was actually a 3-way deal because Josi was moved over to Patrick Kane, in a 7th and a 10th rounder. So this one is a bit more complicated. That trade that you're talking about, you're right, is Roman Josi in a 7th was shipped over to Daltrey for Patrick Kane in a 10th. So let's get your analysis on the 3-way trade essentially.
Yeah.
On as a whole,
Yeah. So Patrick Kane went to the whole shaft.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean that's a great deal right there. That's a huge pickup for Nick, adding some key offense at a relatively a good price here.
Yeah, you're looking at I think a 7th and Braden Shen essentially.
That's essentially what it turned into, yeah. So flipping Shen for Josi, and then Josi and that 7th packaged to Daltrey for the 7th and Kane.
And the 10th coming back is pretty good too. Yeah. Pretty good return pick.
Yeah, I was really happy with it. I think all parties involved were pretty happy with it. Medolci put out there on the chat yesterday that he was looking for an elite defenseman, and he was dangling Kane out there. Had to reach out immediately. Of course, I didn't have an elite defenseman at the time, so I had some time on my hands, so I went looking for one. I reached out to this guy first, and thank God he didn't take my offer. I'm not going to get into details there, but worked out better. I was able to pick up Yossi, and Kyle, right in the plums, he was looking for some scoring. I think he was able to get that with Braden Shen. He picked up 2 goals tonight so far. I think Daltrey, looking for that elite defenseman, that's what he wanted, and he paid a price for it. So
that's the thing. You got to be willing to pay the price for the piece that you want, right? It's not about. It's hard because everyone values things different, but it's about what you're willing to pay for that piece that you want. So
question for the commish: is there a way to modify or add like a 3-team trade function in Yahoo?
It's not the way it works. No,
there's no option for it.
I wish there was. Yeah. We'll have to use the honor system.
Yeah, because that scared me today. Just once getting Yossi, like, is he gonna actually follow through?
Yeah.
On the rest of the deal, and thank God he did. But yeah.
Good on Daltrey. He could have backstabbed you.
Really
I think that would have been a better tactic, but. No, GM relationships matter, right? In the keeper league, like you're dealing a lot of people. I don't know if you noticed, a lot of people deal with the same GMs because they've never got screwed over with this GM. They treat them the deals fairly and with respect.
That's why we've only ever made one trade.
That's right, because I don't respect him.
Yeah. It's a 2-way street.
You got anything else to add in, Kyle, before we move on from trades?
Yeah, I guess I feel. Nick won this trade, but Braden Shen is paying off for right in the plums right now, so we'll see. I don't know if Daltrey's, going to get the defenseman he's looking for in Roman Yossi, but we'll see.
I think Kyle made out pretty well in this trade because I was only doing the trade for that piece I would need to get Kane. I would have never done Braden Shen for Roman Yossi straight up. I love Braden Shen. Everything he brings, goals, assists, power play points, hits, blocks, PIMs. Like, the guy just fills the stat sheet. But I just couldn't pass up the chance to get a player like Patrick Kane and that extra offense that he brings.
Well, we'll see how it all pans out, but good deals overall. Trade block. No one sent me anything for a trade block. I imagine Eberle's off the block, though, since he was recently dropped and put on the waiver wire. Dolce's been dealing all week, so I don't know what his trade block looks like.
Eberle was the one who was picked up off the waiver wire and immediately put on the trade block?
He played one game, got a game-winning goal, then put on the trade block.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, why not? If someone wants to pay for something.
Yeah. Like, this guy was just out there for free.
That's what I do with Elliott. I picked up Elliott, he got me a shutout. I wanted to trade him because otherwise I was dropping him that next day. I made out with whatever I could get for him. Tactics, they work. Yeah. But trade block's pretty bare. Do you have anything you want to add on your trade block, buddy, while you're here? Let the people know.
I had Tristan Jari on my trade block, but he is now off the trade block because I have 2 goalie injuries. So he's not for grabs at the moment, but maybe in the future.
All right, keep an eye out for deals with Kyle over here. All right, guys, this is a new segment, something that people said they were looking for, something that we were actually considering anyway. So it kind of works out. We just ran out of time last week when we decided that we wanted to record more. We're going to talk about the waiver wire. Waiver wire is a tool that everyone has, and it's very important. It could make or break your season, really, and how well you follow the waiver wire.
Yeah. For sure, there's been a lot of keepers or waiver wire pickups that have turned into keepers throughout the year, especially some of these young goaltenders. Guys come in, they steal the job. So always be on the lookout for those goalies on the waiver wire.
So we're gonna go over. We're just gonna each take one of us is gonna talk about a forward, a defenseman, and a goalie on what we thought was the pickup of the week last week. So I guess we'll start with Nick and the defenseman.
Yeah, so I think Kyle here made a really good pickup. He picked up Ty Smith early in the week. Didn't have the greatest week this week here, but I think he's a really good young defenseman. Playing on a surprising New Jersey team. I think the Devils are really shocking a lot of people this year. Young, fast team. Kind of remind me of the Blue Jackets for the last couple of years. Don't really have that superstar, but they really played well as a team together.
Kyle is going to talk to us about a goalie. Who was the pickup of the week last week?
Definitely have to go with Travis's pick of Kevin Lankinen. Who saw this coming? Third stringer, bit of a Cinderella story here. This guy's been killing it.
Absolutely.
And you see why people may have been apprehensive about picking up a Chicago goalie, being how they've played. But he's put up a .930 save percentage this year, 2.16 GAA. He had some really great. He had some great play this week. Got a win, and I really think he really helped Travis this week.
And we all know, right, Kyle? There's only one thing that's better than a duo.
It's a trio.
I'm going to take a moment here and talk about a forward. I'm going to give it to Saucier Pass. Sorry, I almost said his last name. Apologies. Saucier Pass for his pickup of Andrew Kopp. Kopp had a great week. Put up points. He put up some PIMs. He put up hits, blocks, shots. He was even a plus player on not a very defensive Winnipeg team. So that says a lot. But he put up a lot of our fantasy stats, of the 10 player stats. So he was a real bargain. He put up a lot. He got him for nothing.
I think he was playing on a line with Nikolai Ehlers, who just had a hell of a week himself. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that line whenever Pierre-Luc Dubois becomes available. Because I think Stastny's centering that line, and you'd have to assume that PLD is going to step into that role. Kopp on the wing there, that could be a really, really dangerous line.
It'd be a gritty line, that's for sure. Now we're gonna give you kind of a little insight on what our mind thinks of when we think of thought process we go through when we talk about to the waiver wire. We're gonna ask each of us here to kind of review one position, specifically on who we would look at maybe this week of adding. We'll start with the defenseman with the whole shaft here.
Yeah, so just scouring the waiver, I'm going to give you two. Depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for those grinder stats, your blocks, your PIMs, your hits, I'm going to give you Eric Goodbranson, playing on a terrible Ottawa Senators team right now. He's got a ton of hits, a ton of blocks, a good amount of PIMs. He only has 3 games this week, so keep that in mind. But if you're looking for those grinder stats, I think he's going to be your bet. On the other side of that, I think that there's a diamond in the rough out there. Olivier Joseph, defenseman for the Pittsburgh Penguins, had a great night the other night, and the Penguins just got ravaged on their D-core. Chris Letang's down, Brian Dimmolin's down. So this kid stepped up, had the most minutes of anybody played. I think he had 3 assists in the game. Again, only 3 games this week, but I think if you're looking for some value, he might be it.
That's a tough one for me since that was part of the Kessel trade with Arizona. Like, it's tough to watch him.
Oh, the Joseph guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
tough to watch him succeed somewhere where they score goals.
Yeah.
We're going to go on to goalies here with Kyle.
Yeah, so the goalie situation is just so strange this year, and there's so many people rostering like 4 or 5 goalies. There really isn't much available on the waiver wire. So my pick for this week is Eric Comrie from the New Jersey Devils. So this is a 3rd string goalie who may see some play this week because Blackwood is out on the COVID protocol. I don't know if he actually has COVID or what the deal is, but he's currently on IR. So Eric Comrie could see some play as a backup. So if you need, one more play for the week, you only had 2 plays, you could take a look at Eric Comrie to fill out that 3rd play for you this week.
That's right. Touching point here on Kyle's point. Goalie starts, guys, really important. Remember, you need that 3 minimum a week or you lose all your goalie stats. So if you need that spot start, Comrie might be one to give you that start. For my pick for forward, I'm going to go with Saad. He's playing on a good Colorado team. He's putting up points. He's been on a tear of late. He scored again tonight. He's too good of a player on a good Colorado team to kind of overlook. He'll give you a lot of offense. So I think that, and the fact that Colorado plays 4 games this week, 2 are against Minnesota. So Minnesota, not really, in my opinion, like a big high scoring team. So he's gonna get his chances. Is that who they played tonight? Colorado, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're playing them again 2 more times this week. He's already scored once on their goals.
They played 2 more times this week?
Yeah.
They just played 2 on the weekend. They played yesterday and tonight.
Yep, so it looks like they're on a 4-game stretch.
Oh, man.
So
okay. Could get ugly there.
Yep. Go pick up Saad.
Yeah. Just a point on this guy, streaky scorer. So like Shane said, he's very, very hot right now. Once he starts to cool off, drop him immediately. Just get rid of that. Just stay away. He's not going to do anything for you. Big power forward that doesn't get hits. Just, drives me nuts.
All right, guys. Week 2 was a big week. A lot of big matchups. Results are now final, except that they aren't technically final. As we saw last week, at the end of play, we had a tie, but stat adjustments are made Monday morning by Yahoo. So we might have some conflict again. Last week ended up Corey took the win over Travis. Because of a goal that got switched from one player to one of his. Mm-hmm. So keep in mind when we say we're going to review this week's results, they're not absolutely 100% final. They should be pretty accurate, but anything can happen if things get switched around.
Yep. It's funny, the stat correction actually happened for a player that was no longer on his team.
Yeah.
Like I know he was on his team when it took place. I get it. It's funny.
Yeah, he gets one last gift from him, right? So we're going to review last week's matchups, or week 2. We're going to start with Kyle here, who's going to tell us about the whole shaft versus Pat. You ready to rumble?
All right, so we have a Nick versus Nick matchup right here, and as we all know, there can only be one Nick, and unfortunately for the whole shaft, it was Pat. You ready to rumble. Now, this score looks really lopsided, but it was actually a lot closer than the score indicates. The whole shaft actually had a really solid week, and had he been playing somebody else, he probably would have won. But Patch Ready to Rumble put up some impressive numbers across the board this week and just trounced him. I don't know if this is like an indicator of Patch Ready to Rumble's team going forward, but definitely be on the lookout. If you're playing him and he's putting up these kind of numbers, he's going to be tough to beat. So definitely a tough loss for the whole shaft this week.
Yeah, I like my team, but I also, from the beginning, I've also really liked Patrick Rumble's team. I think he had a really solid draft. He's got some good depth over there, but it's a tough week.
All right, our second matchup, we have Team Ramrod versus Domo Arigato, Mr. Chibato. Let's go to Nick.
Yeah, so kind of a similar score to the first one here. So another trouncing, 10-2 final. Domo Arigato, Mr. Chibato, able to pick up the win in week 1. He's not able to do that in week 2 here. Shane starting off the year strong, going 2-0. Good for him.
I credit my goaltending this week. Big starts from them, just over 1 goals against average, .960 save percentage. That's over about 6 starts. So
that's those Vancouver goalies.
Those Vancouver goalies got me 4 games this week, all only allowing 1 goal. And Kemper is just a rock. So we're going to go over now 2016-2017 champions playing against Please Don't Feed the Goalie. Let's go to Kyle for analysis.
All right, Derek, if you're watching this, okay, just put your hand in front of your face because you can't see me. I'm John Cena. You have me blocked, buddy. So, can't block me on here, bitch. You got motherfucker. 10. I understand both you guys didn't get your start, so it looks like that's going to be a step into trouncing. What can I say? Stop living in the past. 2016, 2017, that was a long time ago, Derek. Get over it. Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Well, thank you, Kyle, for that colorful analysis.
We're still there.
Yeah, we got you,
We
buddy.
got you.
We got you. Loud and clear on that last bit, anyway. At least that last bit, yeah.
You were a bit robotic for a bit. It would have been perfect for Domo Arigato, but what we have next, we're going to have Nick talk about El Reyes versus our guest this week, Cherry Pickin' Dons.
Yeah, another tie here. So we got 7-7 finish. El Reyes was able to get the win in week 1. Pulled out a tie here. I really thought he was going to get the win. I'm not sure how Cherry Pickin' Dons was able to stick around. I really don't even know how he's won it 1-0-1. I don't understand. Just looking at that roster, just poor. But yeah, good job on you, Kyle, pulling out a tie here.
All right.
Yeah, I gotta credit my goaltending. Yeah, I kind of lucked out. I had 5 injuries this week, so it was a bit of a rough week for me. But I'm happy that.
That's rough with the goalie injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of lost you a bit at the end. But we understand you had the goalie injuries. Like you said earlier, goalies are going to be a tough battle this year with waiver wire backups, stuff like that. Postponed games. Next, Kyle, are you still there? Did we lose you again?
No.
Nope.
I just switched my Wi-Fi feed here. I think I'm on a more stable connection.
All right. Beautiful. All right. We're going to get you to talk about the next one. And we have Y'all Try the Beef versus Right in the Plums.
Oh, man. I feel bad for Mr. COVID here. I mean, Right in the Plums. He put up a really, really solid week here, and he would have won against pretty much anybody else. But Daltrey is just on fire. I mean, Daltrey is just killing it this year. It's unreal. This could be an upset this year. Who knew? Setting your lines and you win? It's unreal to me.
What a winning combination. Setting your lines every day.
He's definitely off to a good start there. Happy to see him go 2-0.
I hope that stops this week.
Yeah.
Got you, Daltrey. Hockey Balboa versus Saucier Pass. Let's go to Nick here.
I really don't know what to make of this one. This guy's selling his team and he still pulls out the W, 2-0 on the year. I get that the 2 wins are against a guy who's also selling his team and Hockey Balboa, who auto-drafted and just really does not have a very strong roster there. Not yet, anyway. Like I said, I think last week or maybe the week before that, he is an active GM. Hopefully he does start to make some moves. So I can understand how Corey's 2-0, but at the same time, to sell your team the way he's been selling and to still pull off 2 wins and be at the top of his division, good for you, man.
Now watch, he'll finish 2-9.
Yeah.
Or 2-11.
Here comes the slide. Yeah.
Oh, but to touch base on what you're saying about Braden. Braden is an active GM. I do know that he has reached out at least to me in deals, so he is out there looking. So if you have a goalie, he might give you a good deal for it. Next we have TVTMF versus Suck My Ojic, and let's go to Kyle for that.
So you got Neil here, who attempted to fish Travis this week, but ended up being fisted himself. I'm just going to call Neil Mephisto from now on, because Neil is the devil. All right? You guys need to understand, Neil is the devil. So Mephisto here lost against Travis, of all things. But Travis actually pulled out some good scoring goalie stats and managed to pull an upset because of goaltending. Who knew with all those Chicago goalies?
Yeah.
So Neil had a solid. I expect Neil's going to pull off his first win maybe next week.
Fair enough. Next matchup, we had The Charlie Browns versus Relentless. Let's go to Nick.
Yeah, so Sean's able to pick up his first one of the season here. Relentless put up a good showing. It really came down to the last matchup there as we were watching it, kind of waiting to see if there was going to be any kind of penalty minutes. Good for Sean, able to come back from the loss last week. I think Relentless is going to bounce back as well. Again, I think he's got a solid team there. But it was a pretty good matchup. Two good teams going at it, and it was very close at the end.
I think there was some surprising results this week.
Yeah.
In some matchups, right?
For sure.
Some teams continue to chug along. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in week 3.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go, speaking about the predictions, pretty much, of what we think is going to happen, how we thought favorites were favorites but weren't. A lot of underdog victories here. Let's go for a quick recap here on predictions with Nick.
Yeah, so just taking a look here, we have quite a couple of people losing that first matchup. So only 2 people picking Pacioretty to rumble. Those 2 were rewarded with the victory. The next matchup we have a sweep though. Everybody picking Ramrod, and he came through for us.
People believe.
Yeah, people believe. Then coming after that, we have everybody picking 2016-2017 champs, and look who comes up with the win is Please Don't Feed the Goalie. So the only one getting right here is Kyle. Kyle, good for you, man. Next matchup, again, another sweep, but not a very good one. Everybody missing out on the matchup here. Those ties, you can't really call that, right? It's so tough to decide on a tie.
It's not even worth picking.
Yeah,
really.
Exactly. So yeah, not a whole lot of luck here. You notice a lot of red on on this board this week, guys. Next matchup, we only had 4 picking Daltry the Beef, 7 going against it. But Daltry did come up with the win here, as we saw. Same thing, Hockey Balboa having the majority of the votes here, but Sociopath coming up with the win. Sociopath actually picking himself to tie this matchup, which was kind of funny. We threw a little bit of shade at him last week for that. Again, next matchup, more red. So TVT coming up with the win over Suck My Ojic, where 9 of us had Suck My Ojic taking him to win there. And then lastly, again, look at this, more red on the board. So Charlie Brown's looking like the kind of the upset, depending on how we looked at it. 2 picking Charlie Brown's and 9 for Relentless. So overall, guys, the week nobody went even 500. Or the best score was 3-5 this week. The lowest score 1-7. So looking at our overall totals, that's 2 weeks now that we're in here. So overall best score Daltry so far at 9-7, followed by the Cherry Pick and Dons at 8-8. Everybody else is below 500. We have either seen some upsets or we are just really not good at predicting these things.
Maybe we don't know the league as well as we did. As we thought.
Yeah.
While we're talking about predictions, guys, we do have an anonymous donation from a GM for the best overall win percentage predictions at the end of the season. So have some fun with it. Get your predictions in. We want to set a minimum that you have to play at least 4 weeks to qualify for the prize.
I was gonna ask, can somebody just come in at the last week and just make their predictions and go 7 or 8-0 and just?
No,
okay.
No, they got to play minimum 4 weeks. You should be able to tell a decent amount of their predictions, win percentage based on that.
Yeah. So we can see here, guys, there was 2 people that did not participate the first week, but that decided to start in week 2. So they've been added here. The Charlie Browns and Relentless, they're both 3-5. Like Shane said, we're going to go off win percentage, so we really don't need to have the same totals, just the percentage breakdown.
They played 1 week, and they're only 1 prediction behind Travis. Yeah. So thank you for participating, though, guys. We appreciate you jumping in. The more, the merrier. We only have 5 members of the league who haven't participated yet. I have high hopes that we'll get some new ones again this week.
Yeah. Now that there's some cash prize tied to it, I'm sure that more predictions are going to start flowing in there.
That's right. Why not? It just takes you 2 minutes to predict who you think is going to win.
Yeah. You
can walk away with a cool $20. That's almost your whole registration for next year.
Honestly, yeah.
Which again, I appreciate everyone paying on time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to talk about our week 3 predictions. So some big matchups this week. I like a lot of these matchups. I think they could be really interesting.
Yep.
So I guess let's start with the whole shaft versus please don't feed the goalie, and we'll go to Nick for his predictions first.
Well, I'm going to be coming off the loss here. Tyler, please don't feed the goalie, is going to be coming off his first win. So both teams going to be 1-1. I do like my matchup, my team to match up against his. So I'm going to take the whole shaft to win this week.
Kyle?
I echo Nick's statement here. Nick's always a solid bet regards to the year. Please don't feed the goalie. Could upset, but I'm going to go with the whole shaft here.
I'm gonna agree with the both of you. Nothing against Tyler's team here. I think it's more about the quality of keepers is just there for Nick, so he has that advantage even if the rest of his team might have suffered a bit in the draft, but I don't think they really did. They're all solid guys. He's just picked up Patrick Kane. Someone's gonna score in Chicago. It's probably gonna be him. So I just like his roster better in this matchup.
Say more nice things. Aw. I want to hear you say it. Tell me you like my team.
I don't love his team. I wouldn't have most of the players he has. But I mean, I'd take Leon. Next matchup, we'll have. I like this. Team Ramrod. 2-0 Team Ramrod versus a 2-0 Y'all Try the Beef. Let's go to Nick.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Battle of the Undefeateds here. Shane, in the past, I would have taken him hands down in this matchup every time. I think Daltrey's a different GM this year. He seems active. He's participating in trades. Like, it's refreshing. Like, I want to see more of it, Daltrey. Keep it up. So I'm gonna take you in this matchup, and I think you're gonna continue your win streak.
Kyle?
This is a very interesting matchup, and I'm a bit torn about this, but I'm going to go with Team Ramrod, and I'm going to tell you, I'm incredibly impressed with all the pickups that Shane has made this year, and despite the fact that Shane didn't pick late, he is playing to win, and actually, I have Shane as an early favorite to take this season.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I echo that. I echo exactly what you said. I'm voting for myself again because if I can't vote, if I don't think I'm going to win, then who's going to win? Like, I'm not going to win. I have to believe in my team. I believe in my roster. I will never vote against them. I just like my matchup at every week, but that's just me loving my roster, right? So it's nice to hear even Nick talk about my team. He's not afraid to tell me when he thinks my team sucks. But it's going to be an interesting week. Daltrey, like you said, is a different GM. I think I have the edge goaltender-wise, and I think that's where, even though he got Grubauer off me, I think my goaltending is still going to be good enough to take the goaltending and steal that win. My offense is just as good as his offense. I think that's a wash, but I think I have more grit, and I'll hopefully pivot out for another win. Next match, we have 2016-2017 champions versus Right in the Plums. Nick?
I'm gonna have to go with Right in the Plums on this one. I kind of have a feeling. I really don't have much to say about this matchup. Right in the Plums.
Kyle?
I believe, and maybe this isn't accurate, but I've picked Derek to lose both weeks so far, and I was the only one in both weeks to pick him to lose. And surprised, I'm picking Derek again to lose this week, right? I actually really like Right in the Plums roster this year. I don't think so I really think he's well overdue for a win. He's just had some bad luck.
I would like to say Kyle, but I'm not going to say Kyle. And I said it last week, and it came back to burn me in my predictions, Kyle. I really thought your roster was good, but I must say, picking up Shen could be a difference maker. Shen is a great player for what he gave up. Could be a difference maker. I I think Derek's gonna have a bounce back week and put a fight of it. I can see this going either way, but I'm gonna go with Derek in that one. El Reyes versus the Charlie Browns. Nick.
Yeah, so interesting matchup here. El Reyes, one of the rookie GMs, but that roster is just so stacked. And Charlie Brown's, believe he was able to pick up his first win there. So, gonna have to go with El Reyes in this one, just based on that roster. I think that he's gonna take the win here. Kyle. Still got you, Kyle?
No, it's frozen.
For a second. So yeah, I'm gonna echo Nick here. I'm gonna go with El Reyes again for this week. I really do think El Reyes is gonna be a tough team to beat this year. He's got a solid roster, and he's definitely gonna be a solid matchup. Whoever's playing against them week to week.
Honestly, I'm gonna echo what these guys said. I just think he has the right. He has great young players. Makar, he's a great defenseman already, playing on a stacked Colorado team. He's got Tavares with the first pick in the draft. His goaltending has been solid. Charlie Browns has great goaltending as well, but he seems to be struggling in other areas. I guess it doesn't help though that Ovechkin had to sit out for 4 games.
Yeah, for sure.
So Ovechkin coming back could give him a boost. I'm still going to give the edge to El Reyes. Next matchup, we have Cherry Pickin' Dons versus TVTMF. Nick?
Well, I said earlier, I'm not sure how Kyle was even able to pull out a tie there. Two weak rosters. Yeah, I said it, Kyle. I'm going to take you to win, but I don't like either of your rosters. So, yeah.
All right, so between me and Travis, I'm not confident I'm going to win, but I will pick myself to win. This is the first time I'm actually picking myself to win, all right? But I am fully aware that I could be upset in this matchup, and it would be very upsetting because Travis's team is shit, but so is mine.
I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm gonna pick Travis to win, only because I think he's just gonna trade for players that'll help him this week and then move them again. I don't see a lot of difference between the two teams. Their rosters are both iffy to me. I think it's gonna come down to postponed luck and injury luck in this week, and it'll be just whatever team can put the most games out. Really, whichever roster can put the most games out. Our next matchup, Domo Arigato, Mr. Chabato, is taking on Relentless.
I really want to believe in you, Deltry Sr. I think that you're being more active and more involved than any year that we've seen you in before. Your roster's solid too. Like, I really want to believe in you, but I don't yet. I just need to see a little consistency. So for that reason, I'm going to take Relentless in this one. Again, his roster is also very solid, so I think that he's going to pull out the W here.
Kyle?
Yeah, I'm going to take Relentless as well. I think he has a solid roster. Domo Arigato, Mr. Jabato can threaten any week, though. So, this is probably going to be a bit of a close match, but I'm going to stick with Relentless on this one.
I'm going to also go with Relentless. I just play against Omar Arigato. I know he can put up some points. He has a bit of everything. My issue with his roster is he has 5 Senators. Right? I know you're a Senators fan, but you have 5 guys from the same team. So if that team's not going, your team gets hurt. Your roster gets hurt. You're losing 5 guys if one game gets postponed.
That's true.
I would suggest spreading the love out to other teams a bit. They're not bad Senators to have, but I just think you have too many eggs in that Senators basket.
Yeah.
For a team that's on the rebuild and not having a great start. I would probably look into moving some of those guys. Next matchup, Hockey Balboa versus Patch. You ready to rumble? Yeah.
So I just got spanked by Patches here, and I think he's going to do the same to Hockey Balboa, so I'm going to take Nick in this one. Kyle?
Again, I hate to agree with you, Nick, but I'm going to take Nick as well. Patrick Rumble has a great roster, and he's definitely a contender for playoffs this year. And Braden's been very active. He just is having some bad luck right now, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think Patrick Rumble has the better roster. I think they've both been very active in talks, trying to fill the gaps that they feel they have. I just think Patrick Rumble is able to get those deals done, and that's the difference right now. Is just he has a deeper roster right now. If Hockey Balboa can fix his goaltending issue, I think he can become a serious threat as he was last year and the year before. He was at the top of the standings for a few years. I just think that the aging goalie's caught up to him. Rene's not getting the starts. Fleury's kind of lost his spot. He's still playing. He's playing well, but he's playing a little less than Leonard right now. And I think that's where the roster difference is right there. The edge goes to Hatcheray and Rumble. Yep. Our last matchup here is Saucy or Pass versus Suck My Ojic. Nick?
So I think this is where Corey's win streak comes to an end. I know he's going to be 2-0 going into this one here, but I'm going to take Suck My Ojic. He's going to come up with the W, I believe.
Kyle?
I'm going to pick Corey here against Mephisto. Corey just seems to be having some solid luck on his side, even though he doesn't really have a great roster. But I just really think that Mephisto's roster this year just isn't there.
I'm gonna go with Neil. I think his forwards are better, and eventually his forwards are too good to not be on that score sheet. I think they're gonna start breaking out. Panarin is gonna break out. Pasternak just got back from injury.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a big difference maker for Neil.
That's true.
I think this week he has the edge, and who knows with Corey with the moves he's been doing. Is he selling? Is he playing? No one knows. He's probably doing both. He's selling and hoping he can contend.
Yeah.
But if that works for you, but I just think this week he's gonna lose.
Oh, that's fair.
All right, guys. Well, that's our week 3 show here, our end of week 2, start of week 3 show. I hope you enjoyed all the content and keep giving us your feedback. I'd like to thank Nick, as always, to being here, and Kyle taking time out of his day. He's about to start work, and we're about to go to bed.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us here, buddy. It's nice talking to you, as always.
Yeah, it's definitely nice talking to you guys, and my pleasure joining in. Player from the other side of the ocean.
Yeah. Keep in mind, guys, if ever you want to be part of the podcast, send myself a message, and we'll arrange for you. All you need is a Zoom account, and we'll be able to get you on the show here, giving your opinions, trash talking back.
Yeah. We're thinking about having multiple people on the same show. Get a couple people on a Zoom conference call. So if anybody's interested in that, please let us know. Yeah.
As always, thanks for watching, and good luck this week, guys.
Good luck.